The civilization of ancient Egypt is notoriously known for its spectacular achievements in the range of fields, including breathtaking art in architecture, engineering, medicine, and statecraft. Its amazing buildings on the banks of the river still strike the awe factor into those who see them. But the question is, what brought the rise of ancient Egypt? Find out by watching this video. For more than 30 centuries, from its infamous unification in 3100 BC to its notable domination of Alexander the Great in 332 BC, the rise of ancient Egypt was the greatest civilization in the Mediterranean world. From Egypt's great pyramids of the Old Kingdom through its military conquering of the New Kingdom, ancient Egypt's majesty has long entranced historians, as well as archaeologists, creating a vibrant field of study which is named Egyptology. Moreover, the main sources of information about ancient Egypt are the many monuments, items, and artifacts recovered from archaeological sites that have been covered with hieroglyphs that have been only deciphered just recently. This emergence of Egyptian culture has little in the beauty of its art, the achievements of its architecture, or the richness of its religious traditions. Do you know where Egypt is located? Well, Egypt is situated in the Nile Valley, in the northeast of Africa. Its origins lay in various chiefdoms in Upper Egypt, at Abydos and Hierakonpolis, which spread all across northwards towards Memphis, as well as the Mediterranean. By the year 3000 BCE, the unified Kingdom of Egypt took over the entire Nile Valley, north of a series of rapids named the First Cataract, which the other cataracts laid in a chain stretching south right along the river Nile into present-day Sudan. And at its greatest extent, in c. 1250 BCE, ancient Egypt occupied the land from the Syrian coast in the north, leading to the Red Sea in the east, right down the Nile Valley to Nubia, and spreading across the west inland into the Libyan desert. Fascinating, isn't it? But this is just the beginning. The story of ancient Egypt is no doubt fascinating, with the extraordinary civilization that flourished along the banks of the River Nile. It can seem like a beautiful pageant studded with exceptional events. And some of them are the buildings of the pyramids, the conquest of Nubia, Akhenaten's religious revolution, the powerful of Nefertiti, the life and death of Tutankhamun, the brutality of Ramses, Alexander the Great's invasion, and let's not forget Cleopatra's fatal entanglement with Rome, which led to the fall of Ptolemaic Egypt. In the early days, the ancient Egyptians produced the first government to rule the nation. The Sumerians were the only people to be literate in 3000 BCE, who lived in small city-states, each ranging no more than a few tens of thousand people. On the other hand, the unified Kingdom of Egypt covered an entire country, thousands and thousands of square miles in size, and with more than millions of inhabitants. Moreover, we all know that the pharaoh was the ruler of ancient Egypt, but religiously and politically. The pharaoh had the title of Lord of the Two Lands, which means that he ruled all of Upper and Lower Egypt, as well as high priest of every temple, which basically means that he represented all the gods on all the earth. And in the Egyptian eyes, the pharaoh was a god who stood between heaven and earth. The pharaoh's welfare and the welfare of the entire people were held tightly together. Also, the pharaoh was in charge of the army who would go to war when the pharaoh's lands were threatened, and demanded valuable gifts from the people if victory was obtained. To help the pharaoh govern the land, an elaborate organization of officials, scribes, overseers, and the world's first civil service developed, bringing government reach down to the lowliest villager. Egypt was divided into nomes and administrative regions, up to 42 of them, and each of them were governed by a monarch. The pharaoh was even surrounded in his palace by high officials, ministers, as well as courtiers. And for most of ancient Egypt's history, the pharaoh was served by a powerful chief minister, known as the vizier. He represented the pharaoh in administering the land, treasury, and legal system. Temples were used as places of worship, granaries, and treasuries where the goods were stored. So, what was the religion in Egypt in ancient times? Well, the ancient Egyptians worshipped many gods and goddesses. These included Ra, who they called the sun god, and Isis, who was seen as the goddess of nature and magic, as well as Horus, the god of war, and Osiris, who was the god of the dead. But this pantheon of gods and goddesses gradually changed over time as new gods were brought up and became more important. In ancient times, the rise and fall of gods and goddesses in Egypt had mirrored the political fortunes of temples and priesthoods. Also, the gods were worshipped in temples run by Egyptian priests. These were not apparently places of public worship, where the god's image was usually sealed off from the outside world. Only on occasions was the god brought out and shown to the public. Normal Egyptians used small domestic statues to worship the gods and goddesses in their homes. Amulets and charms were worn for protection against the forces of evil. Egyptian religious beliefs about the afterlife also changed over time. In early times, the afterlife was intimately connected to the preservation of the physical body by mummification. This always had some force, but then an idea grew up that humans are made of physical and spiritual aspects. After death, the latter lived on. Some people become disembodied souls, ghosts, wandering the earth. But if judged worthy, someone could become a blessed one and live in a land of goodness. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's video and found it interesting, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to always be updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.